Hi everyone, I'm Kev and welcome to this week's Draw Along. This week I'm excited because I'm going to show you how to draw Spider-Man, as well as how to draw the city background for him, the city of New York for him to swing through. So before we do this, however, I just want to quickly talk about my biggest influences when it comes to drawing Spider-Man. Okay, let's begin. These are my top 4 artistic influences, the top 4 artists that inform the way that I draw Spider-Man. So starting up, we have Mark Bagley. Ultimate Spider-Man was one of the first comics I ever picked up and was a big influence on me wanting to become an illustrator. Mark Bagley obviously drew a younger Spidey in the Ultimate series, making Peter Parker much shorter and leaner than he looked in the regular Spidey titles. Next up, John Romita Jr. I have mixed feelings about JRJR's art, but I have always had a soft spot for his interpretation of Spider-Man. Again, he was one of the first Spidey artists I came across during the J. Michael Straczynski run of the book. Like Bagley, I like the leaner Spidey, and I also like the way that Romita Jr. drew Spidey's eyes. Todd McFarlane, the man that updated the look of Spider-Man. For years before, Spidey had been drawn the way that John Romita Sr. had drew him. Then the Todd father came along, gave Spidey bigger eyes, a ton of webbing on his suit, and he also created the infamous spaghetti webbing before it was like a web sheet that kind of came out of his web shooters. As well as these additions to the Spidey design, he changed the way Spidey moved, contorting his body into weird shapes, ignoring human anatomy completely. Finally, I cannot complete this list without including Spidey's co-creator, Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko created a completely unique superhero design that has stood the test of time. Ditko put Spidey in strange positions and poses, making him stand out against the heroic chisel draw heroes being drawn by Jack Kirby for Marvel at the time. Spider-Man is one of the most recognisable fictional characters there is, and he is just as popular now as he was when Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created him in 1962. So, without further ado, let's draw Spider-Man. Okay, let's begin the drawing. So, as usual, we start out with our blue outline, and we're going to do our stick figure. So, Spidey, like I said with Todd McFarlane, we're going to put him in like odd positions. John Romita Sr. once said, if you're going to draw a character like Spider-Man, draw him in weird positions. Draw him either like hanging upside down or on a wall or web swinging. Don't just draw him standing there. What's the point of drawing him? So you can see, so I've put him in like this weird kind of position. So I've worked out where his spine is and where his hips and shoulders and legs are going to go. And now I'm going to go in with our shapes. And these shapes are going to go along those lines. The weird kind of contorted lines that Spidey's doing. So we just follow along those lines. See which direction like the torso is going, the hips are going. The head's slightly forward so we can see a little bit of his back as well. Going in at his feet. And his legs. So we kind of got everything kind of worked out here. And his eyes in as well. Okay. Add in that foot, and we're about ready to start going over and drawing in our pencil. Oh, apologies for the constant sniffing as well. I am recovering from a cold that just won't seem to budge, which is annoying. So here we go, we're going to go in and add his musculature now. And I'm going to fiddle around with this a bit as well. As you see, I follow those lines put down by the shapes as well. Just going, yeah, like that. Just follow the shapes. So Spider-Man's like one of my favourite characters to draw as well. So I love drawing Spider-Man. And I like drawing him in these kind of positions as well. It's a lot of fun to do. So there we go, my pencil. So like I thought I made his leg a bit too long, so I brought it back a bit. Not too much, as you can see from the original, but I brought it back a little bit as well. So going in, just change the shape. So I end up changing the shape of the back. I don't like kind of that bone sticking out, as you'll see in a bit. So there we go, we can already see that I've kind of curved his back up a bit. So now we're on to the inking stage. So I'll just go through and ink all this. In his eyes. So see, I like kind of like a mix between those kind of Bagley eyes and Romita Jr. eyes. I like them big, but like not taking up the whole of the mask, but still larger than say Ditko or Romita Senior. So a more modern kind of looking Spidey, big eyes. Like Amazing Spider-Man 2, I like that kind of eye shape from the film Amazing Spider-Man 2. Let's go and ink my spaghetti web in. Work out where the costume is as well. There we go. Again, good thing about digital inking is you can kind of adjust it as you go along. If you're drawing this in pencil and then going in and inking afterwards, refine your pencil sketch a bit more. I think that's kind of one of the bonuses about digital drawing. You don't have to really refine. You don't have to have as refined a sketch underneath as you do doing it traditionally. I'm going to go in and add the webbing now. So I like to have kind of the webbing kind of far apart. I don't like it too tight and loads of the webbing on the face. It's up to you how much webbing you want to draw, obviously, when you go to come to draw your Spider-Man. But I like to draw him like this. And as you can see on the face, the web kind of goes out from the middle, so out from between the eyes. And the web kind of cascades down his body. So as it's going up towards the center point of the mask, you can see that all these webbings are kind of facing upwards, not downwards. Rings around the fingers. There we go. I would have drawn web wings because I really like the web wings, but the position he's in, you can't really see him anyway. So if Spidey had outstretched arms in this picture, he would have web wings on as well. Going with the logo and add a little bit of shine to it. And remember when you're drawing the webbing to follow like the curves of the body as well. So if like the foot there, if it's facing the curves facing upward, the webbing would kind of follow that curve. Just add it in, and then lastly we do this boot. And then we'll go on and start adding in some shadows. So I like Spider-Man with like kind of like the blue area is like almost black. I really like that sort of design. So like heavy shadows on the blue area. Like again, looking at the films like Spider-Man Far From Home, is it the second? No Way Home? Yes, No Way Home, Homecoming, Far From Home. Yeah, Far From Home. So he's kind of got that black, the black area for the blue bit. I mean, I don't like fully black. I still like it blue, but I like kind of the the darker blue used for his blue area of his costume, rather than that kind of pale light blue. Just adding some shadow underneath his feet. And then some cross hatching and little highlights. And we're ready to start colouring. Okay, colouring stages. So I've already laid down the flats, as usual, if you've seen all my previous videos. And I'm just going in with the highlights. So I've got kind of like an orangey tinge for the brighter parts of the costume, with the lights hitting the costume. Again, this is like a colouring technique I kind of picked up again those early 2000s Spider-Man comics, kind of when they highlighted his costume, it was usually like an orange tinge to the red. Look at the Straczynski Romita Jr. Spider-Man comics and Ultimate Spider-Man comics as well. And next, I'm going to create a new layer, make it a clipping mask, reduce the opacity of the layer, and we're going to go in with the shadows. So we'll have a shadow kind of, he's looking down, so yeah, there's going to be shadows. Anywhere you think a shadow will be cast, you place a shadow. I like to have some shadows on the eyes as well, because I think it makes it look adds a bit more depth to them. I like kind of those round, like the glass is round rather than kind of flat. So again as well, where there's like kind of those big heavy black marks are, that's going to be where a shadow is close to as well. And there we go. I think you're just going to add in some little highlights. Oh, well, I didn't colour the webbing in. Colour the webbing in. I kind of go for like a dull ivory type colour. And there we have it, our Spider-Man. But like I said at the beginning of the video, this isn't just we're not just gonna draw Spider-Man, we're also gonna draw the city as well. So let's crack on with that. Right, before we start drawing our background, we got to draw our perspective grid. And on that grid, we're going to draw an horizon line, which is that blue line you can see across Spider-Man's eyes. And on it, there are 2 points, and these are our vanishing points. Vanishing point 1 and vanishing point 2. So all lines converge back to those vanishing points. We kind of went over this in the laser video, if you've seen that one. As you can see, the vanishing points aren't on the picture frame, so the picture frame's that sheet of paper where the drawing is. They are going off the picture frame. So if you're going to draw this on paper, draw your horizon line across the top, and if you've got a bigger sheet of paper underneath, you can draw that line all across that big piece of paper, and there you can add your vanishing points on, and then just use your ruler to draw in the lines for the grid as well. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do somewhat similar to that with Procreate. I use Procreate, so it makes the grid for me easily. So yeah, let me show you that. Okay then, so yeah, I've drawn out my perspective grid as well. I'm not using the drawing assist what Procreate has. And now I'm going to start just drawing in the buildings like this in pencil. So again, you can do this with a ruler, or you can sketch it out and then go in with a ruler to fix it. But we just draw like these box shapes, as you can see. And I'm following those perspective grids back. So any line going back to perspective grid 1, vanishing point 1, is kind of the facing forward of the building. And then the vanishing point 2, all those lines that are facing kind of right of the picture are going back to vanishing point 2. So yeah, that's how you kind of use these vanishing points as well. And we just start noodling around with the buildings, and I'm gonna, there we go, I drew this beforehand, so yeah, we go back to vanishing point 1, vanishing point 2. So yeah, I'm gonna start noodling around building the city. And yeah, so here I am. I'm just using the drawing assist now in Procreate. Quickly lay out my city, and it's just going in, drawing shapes and stuff. Make sure like on the top of your buildings you kind of got like the hatches and stuff, like the like shed things they have. There's aerials. Best thing to do when drawing cities, Google search it, see what buildings look like as well. And that'll help improve your kind of city drawing as well. This is a very basic one. It would have took me a lot longer to draw if I went in with a lot of detail and stuff. But yeah, I'm just getting the shapes down, working out where my windows are going to be as well. Again, always following those lines back to the vanishing points. And just noodle around when you create a city. I think that's the thing with drawing Marvel characters. They're actually in a real city, but you could still play around with the buildings. So yeah, just work it out, play around. Oh, the water tower as well. Draw a water tower. Spider-Man's always got to be swinging past a water tower. That's on the top of that like second building from the right at the bottom. And yeah. So I haven't filmed inking this, but you kind of should get the gist and the colouring. And we'll come to the end of the video now. Okay, there we have it, a finished image of Spider-Man swinging through the skyscrapers of New York City. If you've drawn along, please send it along to me at Kev's Draw Along on Instagram, or to @the Comic Book Club on Instagram. I really enjoyed drawing Spider-Man. Like I said, Spider-Man's one of my favourite characters to draw, so I'd be really excited to see what you guys come up with. Please remember to like, share and subscribe, and thank you for watching till the end. I'll see you next week with another draw along. Till then, keep drawing. Bye bye.